Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Good morning. This lovely, lovely Friday. It is January 28th, 2022. Yeah, it is early morning, and the time is 4:40 a.m. Yeah, I was awake for a while. Yeah, this is a beautiful Manhattan skyline. I love it. I am so fortunate to live in such a beautiful, beautiful, had to have such a beautiful view. Yes, what do I want to talk about today? Well, you know me, and yes, to be addicted to YouTube and videos. Um, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes, I you're reaching out, and sometimes you just need encouragement. And when I turned on my tablet that was right next to me upon awakening, um, I was listening to a man. I'm kind of laughing right now. He was a speaker at some type of lecture, um, middle-aged guy, and you can tell by his voice, that he went to the school of hard knocks. Um, you feel him, you feel his passion because you know that he went through a lot. Yeah, he gave a story about himself. He's from Canada, and um, he wasn't a rich kid. Um, what you call blue collar, working the was it not the coal mines? What do you call it? Oil industry up there in Canada. And at 14, he developed these bad habits like smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. And then he got into drinking with his buddies. And life just wasn't happening for him. He was hanging around with the wrong people. And it started to affect him. And so he said, I can't keep on doing this. Um, and he was explaining that, basically what he was saying about personal responsibility. And he was angry. He had a lot of anger in him. And his life wasn't going anywhere. So he knew that, look, he gotta stop drink. Yeah, he had a, like the drinking and the smoking, like one fed the other. To quit the smoking, he had to quit the drinking too. They were feeding each other. But slowly he started to removing those things that were keeping him from happiness and success. Drinking can kill you. Both can, drinking and smoking. And it just wasn't healthy for him. And then he slowly started exercising. But he's like one of those, I guess, life coaches. And he eventually got himself together and got into Harvard, or at least was, you know, earned his PhD, and he wrote a lot of research papers. One of the most number of research papers as a grad student. I mean, as a what do you call it? Was it? It could have been a grad school or his PhD program. I forget which one of the two, but he was really pumping them out, and it helped build his confidence. As he was speaking and he was like sharing other stories about individuals, and I had to look at my own life and I'm still looking at my life. Uh, we have to look at our own lives. And, sometimes when you hear these people talk about their lives, you know, it, you still may feel the pain of what life happened to you, you know. It's like, you're telling a story, and it could be a little tender still, even as an adult, you know. Um, but I started thinking about my life. Um, some of the stories that he was telling, I felt the emotion stirring in me. Yeah, even when I said I was stirring, yeah, it was stirring in me. The pain of life. And we could think of ourselves as victims. And he talked about victimization also, mentality. That never works, people. We have to take responsibilities and learn from them. He gave the story about he was doing plumbing, and he had a partner working with him. And he asked his partner, did you check to make sure the pipes don't leak? Because they were going to put up the drywall. They're doing construction, drywall's that thing, because you have the pipes that are behind the wall. And when those pipes leak, it's going to leak onto the wall. Those the sheetrock, whatever you call it, drywall sheetrock. Yeah, it's a big mess. And if you don't check one, it could sabotage the other, and it's more work for you. You ever have in life that, if you would have done A, B, and C, you didn't have to do, D, E, and F would have been taken care of? And when you don't take care of the foundation, it creates more mess for you. So his friend was getting edgy. Oh, don't check my work. Who are you to check my work? So he knew the wisdom of, the guy in question. He knew the wisdom of checking to make sure the pipes don't leak before they put up that sheetrock. So he goes upstairs, and then he turns on the faucet, and lo and behold, leaks galore. There was 2 inches of water on the floor because his buddy didn't check his work. So he had to undo the pipes and fix them. Wow. So now they have to clean up the water and all that. So in life, we have a personal responsibility. We have pipes in our lives, and you might have set up pipes in your life. And pipes over time are behind walls. And when you didn't check those pipes carefully, uh, the walls get water, mildew, and man, and that even that mildew can hurt your body, could hurt your life. You breathe it in your lungs, and you get pneumonia. And you can die from that. So a lot of things in life happen, but it's up to us to fix it when it's small. Boy, when I think about that, yeah, I start. I understood the principles of that story. But listening to it, I felt the inner pain inside me. Um, those inner pain, like, let's say in childhood. And, as children, you were children because, we're growing. And it's this time, at that time of our lives, it's about learning lessons. Going to a school and personal discipline. Yeah, personal discipline is very hard. It's very, very hard as a child. And I think about, I started to feel like this victimization thing when, he's giving his story. We all know that his stories are true. You got to fix your pipes before you put on that sheetrock because it's going to make your life miserable if you don't. But I was thinking about these instances in my life. It's that part when what how how do you overcome and how do you pinpoint solutions to a question? I'm still thinking about the solution for children. Yes, we were all children once. Let's say you're with an adult, and let's say you're being abused at home. You can use your imagination. What do you do? This is the person I really want to address. Those individuals who do what what is necessary. And I remember calling out and pleading for help on a situation. And to my surprise, it surprised me even to this day that when you reach out and you told the right person, they say, "Mommy, um, this is happening to me. Please, don't leave me home alone with that person." And they respond, "Oh, you're just so sensitive." Like, oh, isn't that cute? You're sensitive, but they're not really listening to what you're saying. They heard you what you said. Well, sometimes in life, yeah, as a child, you go to the right person, but that person was not mature enough or brave enough to say, "What? That's happening to you, or we're going to put a stop to this." So they put it on you to make you feel like um, you don't really know what you're talking about. It's your imagination. Oh, you're just sensitive. And they do nothing about it. What you just said, you spoke in plain English or whatever what the language is. They heard you, but they didn't listen. See, they were more afraid of that other person than me. They were afraid of the reality of that meal ticket. You got a whole bunch of kids, and that other person is the brings home the bacon, or I should say, bring home the beef. Is those who don't eat pork, and that if anything happens and that person go, you're afraid how you're going to pay that mortgage, feed those kids. And so a lot of women, mothers, know what the um, repercussion could be if they confront that partner or spouse. Hey, why are you doing this? So they turn on you because you're just a kid. You really can't fight back. And so I think a victimization personality could easily form in life. Any of you wonder where you get your victimization hood award? Usually it starts in childhood. And I ask myself that, I say, okay, see, I want to believe that, see, life is about lessons. And that was an early um, assignment given to me as a very young child, a single digit age. And I when I think about it, I ask myself, what could I have done? What could children do to not become a victim of that type of thing? You know, a lot of kids, when I was growing up, there were a lot of kids out there. Yes, good morning, visitor. Good morning. I invite you to say hello in the chat room if you wish. Good morning. So what happened now? I start thinking back during childhood. There was a lot of violence amongst the girls in particular. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Yes. Good morning, NYC. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I'm talking about life, and is life happening to you? Boundaries and strategies. Yeah, um, I think this is important. So, I think that particular incident, in particular, at least it's the one that I remember, that really characterized a lot of things I think were to later happen. And what that incident did to me was to make me afraid to speak out. And so I became a victim, a voiceless victim, and not speak out. Like here, I'm talking right now. Well, there's a time I never talked. Yeah, I never talked, really. I was afraid of big people. I was afraid of adults because I thought adults were evil and dangerous. And here's someone that I trusted, I came to for help. And they just totally dismissed what I said. They could have, hey, maybe move me to a relative or something. But they chose to do nothing. And so I think what I can learn from that experience or things like it, that you have to put it in your own hands in life. When you go to the adults or you go to the authorities and nothing happens. And it's you want to pull out your hair. What is the strategy? What is the strategy? So one of the strategies, I learned how to isolate myself. That is a way of setting boundaries. When you put when you go in isolation, you are removing yourself from the potential danger. Okay, and I'm a little child, so I used to hang out in my room for hours to stay away from that other person. School, the same thing. There were bullies in school, violent people. And so I became a pro at staying away from violence, bullies. But see, I think initially that could have been a good strategy. Initially, you're a little kid and you're limited what you can do. So I think isolating yourself from the situation, avoidance, is a good strategy at times. It sets a boundary. But sometimes you outgrow certain strategies and you have to start to speak out. I mean, you have to do something. And I'm seeing now as an adult, when I was listening to those programs today, the guy was angry about his life and how he took the initiative. Um, you got to get to a point where when you know you did the right thing, in avoidance and boundaries, but you know, you have sometimes the next step, you got to speak out. And you got to speak out with such force and be believable. See, when you're feeling like a victim and scared, well, you know, people feed off of that. See, the weak people try to find even weaker people to abuse. And that person that violated me was a weak person, and they sought out a little child to victimize. Shows you this the mentality of that person. And for a while, yes, you know, isolating yourself to remove yourself from that individual is a strategy. And in those days, I didn't know about CPS. I'm not sure if I really knew how to use a telephone. It was a lot of control. See, bullies and things like that, families of bullies, they uh, they want to keep you ignorant. They want to keep you ignorant. And so they don't teach you certain things, how to do certain things. They don't. They're definitely not going to teach you about rights or who to go to. So I think one of the lessons in this is learn as much as you can. Read things if you can. Yeah, I was afraid of reading. You know why? Because reading has information in it. And I think maybe deep down I knew it had to tell about accountability. So when you learn something, then there's accountability upon you, the reader, of that information. I think that's part of it. That's a big part of it. And I was afraid of the information in it because some information is painful to read. Some things in history books, some of those things in history is painful to read because it may not be edifying upon you and make you feel like a victim. Yeah, a lot of things out there that's to be read is to it's not just information, it's to make you feel a certain way. And I'm a very extremely sensitive child, and I can see in between things, the innuendos. You become so hypersensitive that it's unreal, that it's painful to touch anything because you've been so sensitized to things. It's almost like, think of it as an allergy, that everything makes you feel allergic because of your hypersensitivity. So you have to learn slowly to maybe compartmentalize certain things so it doesn't hurt you so much. You have to at some point try to remove yourself from the information so it doesn't hurt you. It's like getting like you have a hot pot on the stove. You better not use your bare hands. You better not use your bare hands to take that hot pot off the stove. You need mittens. You need to put on mittens so you don't get burnt. Your hands might feel the warmth, but it's not burning. Okay? And sometimes you need to do that emotionally. Reading information. I have a whole ton of books in my possession, and I have to learn how to read them. Now, I bought them because I wanted to read them. I have to get mittens now to read them because some of the information you may not be able to take. And in this world, you better educate yourself, especially those matters that are important to you. The truth hurts. The truth and reality of things can hurt. even if it's really a medicine for you. It hurts initially, but you have to learn to poke your head out, to um, engage in those things that are painful. And those bullies are always out there waiting to pounce on those people who aren't looking or who look afraid. See, fear produces more fear. So that's why it's important to overcome fear. Or if you do have the fear, as this one YouTuber said 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, you have to push through it. Fear is going to happen in life, but they said to push through the fear. And they were even saying that fear is actually a gift from the angels because because they said fear is an energy. Fear is an energy, this YouTuber said. And so you can utilize that energy because energy is energy, and you can utilize it as a weapon to harness, yes, and use it for your advantage. So I guess with fear, like if I was in a fearful situation, well, maybe in a fearful state, to somehow focus on one thing on that thing that you're afraid of and attack it. Oh, you got it. You got it right. Nice. Fear is just stored power. Exactly. Exactly. And what you said before, you learn to become invisible, but that only keeps the situation ongoing. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that's what was happening to me. See, there is a time to um, avoidance, you know, in certain situations, but then you don't learn. See, the problem keeps on existing. It didn't remove itself. It's there waiting for you to come out to handle that fear, to tackle it. And so it's a growing experience. And um, I had an opportunity once to handle that situation. Yeah, that particular person, my growing up, started bullying me again, and I was alone with that person. And it amazes me to this day when fear becomes anger. Watch out. And this big bully came up to me, and my anger, because they were pissing me off. Yeah, fear turned into anger. And in a reflex response, I didn't know I was going to do that. It's not something like I said, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z now. No, this was like a reflex. When that fear turned into anger and rage, and I stood up and I raised my hand in a fist to punch that person. And that person backed off. They were so shocked and backed away. That was amazing. It surprised, it scared me even. It scared me even. Yeah. See, there's a point when, okay, it's good to avoid certain things, when there's immediate danger. Okay. Yeah, don't stay away from it. But then there's a point when you can no longer hide and you need to face your fear. So I would say turn your fear into anger, and that can be used as a weapon against that obstacle. Because you're going to have those mommies who are going to let their children, you know, leave their children with the wolves because they're too afraid of not being able to get that meal ticket and have someone pay the rent, the mortgage, the food. So they sacrifice their own comfort for their children because of fear. Well, fear could maybe actually be your friend because it'll give you the opportunity to harness that energy and turn it into a fucking weapon in your life. Yeah, I'm not a violent person. I don't believe in violence. I'm a very peaceful person. But listening to the story this morning, the video, NYC, the video was pressing, like I was laughing at times, but also feeling the anger too, because yeah, I understood the guy, the speaker in the video about his life. Yeah, a lot of pain and drug abuse, whatever, and he had to come to terms with his life, or it will destroy him. So I was able to relate. Yeah, self-defense is never violence. It is survival. Thank you, nice. NYC. Yeah, I'll call you nice. NYC nice. Thank you. I appreciate you nice. Yeah, self-defense. And it's okay to defend yourself, people. I know I'm saying the obvious. I'm speaking the obvious. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, nice again. Yes, I see your remark. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is okay to defend yourself. Don't look for trouble and don't be trouble. I see, when early in life, when things like that happen to you, let's say in childhood, that's where it all begins, childhood, for most people. Yeah, it sets up patterns for failure when you don't address it as soon as you can. Once you start learning the lesson, hey, this happened to me. Or I should have realized, hey, I had gotten that bully off my case for a season. Yes, for a season. Yes, that person did back off because they didn't expect me to do that. And I didn't expect myself to do that. But don't think that they're not going to try again. See, bullies uh, may not learn the lesson either. And they may try to find a new opportunity to bully you. Okay. And so, yeah. So you have to at some point speak out in such a way. So I think about, okay, what could a child do when they're a victim? Well, I'm gonna. It may not be nice, and again, it's not. I'm going to tell you what someone did. I'm going to tell you. It's a horrible story. It is a tragedy, but it's a true story that I was told. What one person did, and I pretty much know that this person in some way tried to get help. It was a little child. I used to live in the West Indies. Just briefly, I had an opportunity to go there. After the military, my stay in the military, I moved to uh, this West Indian island. I hated it, but yeah, there was a family that I met, and they were being abused. Outwardly looked like sweet little kids, but they were being abused. One of the siblings had confiding to me about a particular matter. Yeah, she was a teenager at the time, and she had younger siblings. And it's a small, when you live on an island, you learn, everybody knows everybody's business. Okay. So I knew a lot more about this family uh, years to come. Um, I moved away from that island back to the state, the mainland, and I was told something quite tragic. Well, let me tell you what this poor child. Now I met this little child. That kid could have been 8 years old when I met them, and his sister could have been at 9. They were little ones. I remember they looked as sweet could be. Well, let me tell you, again, I'm not promoting violence, but I'm saying this too as a warning for those of you who think they could continue in their bullying people. Okay? Okay, I don't promote violence and I'm not romanticizing it at all, but I'm just giving factual information. Well, this poor little child, the little boy, um, at the age, how he was 11 years old at the time. Yeah, because I stayed on that island for about 3 years. So yeah, so the kid might have been 11 years old, and I know because I know about the lady. What they did to my friend, and the mommy probably was pissing this boy off. Did something to that boy, and the people, the authorities, like child protection place. They knew about it too because they were telling me something about that they knew about. So you had other adults who know the dangers of this so-called mommy. Well, I'm sure this kid in his way tried to reach out for help. And his daddy was around. His daddy, yeah, the biological father, uh, he didn't live with them. He had his own another family that he was with. Well, when you push someone so hard, they could either implode on themselves, kill themselves, or they can lash out in a rage. And unfortunately, the rage that he decided was arson. You heard me right, arson. This kid burned down the house with the mother and two of his half siblings in there. And this child was seen jumping off the balcony when the fire happened, and that the doors were locked. I think they said from the inside or something, or outside. So I didn't even understand that, but it was something significant that the way the way the door was locked indicated to the fire department that it was arson, according to the article, and it's in the newspaper. I read the article in the newspaper. Yeah, after I was told about the fire, then I went on the internet and typed in the family name. 3 people died in that fire. And I was also told other things, particulars about it. Someone who knew about the details inside. Horrible. The kid was returned back to the scene later on. He was found later on. Um, in the article, it said, well, with a murder that is considered murder. and there's no statute of limitation for murder. And the kid now had grown up and graduated from school. Excuse me. The article said, excuse me, my voice. Sorry about that. The article said that this kid did very well in school. I think was voted the sort of the head of the class, and he was going to go away for college. Yeah, this person's life prior was hectic. Probably lived in fear, and he wasn't thriving. And so, unfortunately, the only means of him getting relief from the stress was to do what he did. This was a horrible person, the mommy. I feel sorry for the little kids who died in that fire. They were like, um, what's that, about 2 and 4 years of age. They were innocent. And this was the only solution he could think of as an 11-year-old kid. And it gave him such relief that he thrived in school, was voted the most popular in school, and got accepted to a college. So, you bullies out there who are listening, yeah, people who are bullied maybe maybe constant victims, but watch out because, see, sometimes those who are being bullied tap onto that power. They tap onto their anger. See, when fear manifests into deliverance, it is often in the form of rage and anger. And anger could be turned within and you become like an alcoholic or something, or it could turn out and they can get you. Yeah. See, that is the extreme form of channeling your fear into anger. Yeah, you don't um, destroy innocent people in that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know whether he did. Yeah, this little boy, when he became, I think 17, yeah, because he was a graduate, um, he was to be put on trial, even though the, the murder happened when he was 11. He was a child, he was a minor. So I'm not sure exactly how they handle it. The article doesn't give that information. But I saw him, he seems fine now. I mean, I saw an adult picture of him, a very recent picture, like it was taken 5 years ago. And he has grown, he has little children for him, of his own. And he was with his dad. They were arm in arm in the picture. I was amazed. And I can't believe that I would not have recognized him. And he looks like a real nice fellow. Really, he looks really meek and uh, amiable in the photo. But he has a past. He had murdered his mom. And she deserved it, but not his little sibling. I know this is really hard to hear. I know this is, again, I'm not glamorizing. Yeah, oh, only Eva can stop Eva. Yeah, it stopped her. Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to be. I don't promote violence. I was never. I don't promote it. But this evil ass woman needed to be stopped. No one came to those children's help. Awful. Yeah, she had 5 kids. She wasn't married to the guy. 5 kids. The guy, the father wasn't nice either. The father was um, he was what he was. He was a player. Okay, it's just pissed, and the kids were abused, and they all knew about it on that island. So what more about about fear? See that kid. When I saw that kid for the first time when they were about 8 years old, he looked like a timid little boy, sweet, you know. Um, but there's a point in life where you have to stand your ground. And it has to be a point, and I'm talking to myself when I say this. I am. I'm not just pointing at you. I'm pointing at me too. That you have to say enough is enough to a point where you don't care about the consequences, and you have to make that decision. See, people like the people that I was raised with. Like, see, I came across like the victim. And people who act like victims are not respected. See, it gives the adult or the bully or those people who enable bullies to justify not helping you, not coming to your rescue because they don't respect you. So you have to say to yourself, respect yourself. You look in the mirror now and you say, something? Um, I might have been a victim, but I'm not going to be a victim anymore. And I'm going to respect my boundaries. I'm going to have my boundaries respected. And a situation is going to present itself. And with wisdom, as much wisdom that you could conjure up in yourself, when that bully approaches you again, you got to look at that devil in the face. You have to. And say enough is enough. And you may have to do some severe damage to that other person. And I have to get up to a point that, regardless of what happens in that, you want to make sure that that person never again does what they're going to do to you again. And it may cost you, uh, they may even arrest you. They may have to. And that was a decision I had to make, yeah, that I may have to make in the future. Yeah, I told you guys about the attack that happened to me. I was blindsided. Um, yeah, I was cross. Yeah, this happened November 24th of last year, 2021, and I was feeling good with myself, and yeah, hey, hi Nubian. Good to see you. Yeah, I was crossing the street and I just turned my head to the right a little bit just to look at something. I was just having a good time. And to my left, this crazy woman uh, punched me real hard in my chest. Yeah, yeah, you too. Yeah, I got assaulted. And you know what? I got the police officer right away. This happened as I was in the middle of the street with a lot of people. I'm not sure what time it was because the last time I looked at my watch was like it was after 2 p.m. And when I rechecked my watch, it was just after 3 p.m. Yeah, I was just walking home. And everybody saw what happened. It was a crazy young white woman with schizophrenia, according to the police, and something about her medication. So I guess she forgot her medication. See, a lot of bullies out there, you make excuses, and there's some people learn how to manipulate. See, deceivers and bullies, some of them learn the art of getting over. Oh, I just got schizophrenia. I just forgot my medicine. Well, if you know that if you don't take your medicine, you're going to be violent. And it's interesting that who she got violent with were other black people. They had attacked this elderly black man, and the white police officer was protective over this criminal. And the cop said, "Oh, that's not an assault. She just harassed you. We're not going to arrest her, and we're just going to bring her to the hospital." Well, that cop is a type of, what do you call it, like a facilitator of evil. Yeah. See, that cop is a facilitator, like just like that woman, that woman that I was raised with. She facilitated that animal from doing something to me growing up. And even when I told that woman, hey, X, Y, and Z, and they ignored it and turned it around and said, "You're just sensitive." Well, it's okay to be sensitive because, see, people like me are sensitive, and people like me are people who want to reach out and help other people who are hurting. And I think that's part of my responsibility in life. That's why I do these videos to let people know, hey, you're okay. Uh, you're not you're not alone, and maybe information that could liberate yourself. Yeah, press charges anyway. Yeah, yeah, I did Nubian try to press charges. Yeah, yeah, this is in New York City. And I insisted. I said, I want to press charges, have her arrested. Well, I said, sorry. And it was earlier this month, I was to get the copy of the police report. And I said to myself, you know something? I'm not going to get it because I know what they're going to do. And I didn't want to re-trigger uh, a sense of failure. I didn't want, because right now in New York, I mean, you never know. Yeah, the lady she's out on the street. I saw her 4 days after the attack. She was in my neighborhood. I couldn't believe it. The police just said, well, if she attack you again, I had never seen this woman in my life. Then we're going to consider it an assault, and we're going to arrest her. Yeah, you pull her back on the street again. Oh, I just got schizophrenia. I forgot to take my medication. And they pull them back on the street. See, there's corruption. See, that's what I'm seeing people. And if any of you got suggestions, see, sometimes there's a system of control, and that it's like a bully, I'm over exaggerating, but like a bully network. And some bullies protect other bullies because, see, they want the opportunity to thug people. And you have corrupt cops who like to thug other people, even women. These were men cops. 3 of the 4 cops were men, were white men, and then the only female was a tiny little Hispanic lady who pretty much joined in. See, that's what happens. See, even the so-called minority may join in with the majority. Yeah, and that happens a lot in life. That in order for you to survive with criminals, you have to become one yourself. And that little minority lady, Hispanic lady, chose to follow the four other white men. And the white perpetrator got over. It's really something that some bullies just seem to somehow in life keep on being reinforced. You think that lady learned a lesson? No, she knows, hey, I want to kick ass today. I'm going to stop taking my medication for schizophrenia so I couldn't assault people and get away with it. So, so what do you do? It's really something like, see, strategies. Not all strategies work in the same situation. And also with strategies, sometimes you got to know, hey, sometimes you better retreat. Because I sensed if I went back to that police, the police precinct to get the copy of that police report and then reading possibly him embellishing what really happened in that report to make me look bad, the victim, I think I might have snapped. That's also what I didn't want to snap because, see, it's my word against that white police officer in a Democrat uh, area. Yeah, they're protected. The police in New York City are protected, and it's a no win. But I'm not being. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to act and feel like I've been victimized. Yeah, I didn't get what I wanted out of the situation, but it gives me the opportunity to re-strategize what I could have done. Yeah, it was the first time I was in that neighborhood, and it was a really attractive neighborhood. Really nice, and that's why I was turning my head looking because it was so really a nice day. It was the sun out. It was a beautiful day. So, um, be aware. See, I think let's see what in analysis of what happened to me. Uh, be aware of your surroundings and look ahead. Look straight ahead, but look straight ahead with awareness. In New York City last year in April, March and April, there was a rampage of what they call Asian beating. I hate to say that, but I mean, that's what they were calling it. These people were attacking primarily the elderly Asian, yellow Asian, or I should say East Asian people. In general, they tend to be tinier than other types of ethnic groups. They're like 5 feet tall, and there's a large elderly community in Asia, in these Asian communities, and you had young adults would sometimes they would actually go into Asian neighborhoods and to beat them up. A little Asian lady, elderly lady, or an elderly man, and committed murder on it, and it happened in my neighborhood. A man, a thick ass guy, sees a little Asian woman and did a kung fu kick on her and then stomped her on her head. I kid you not, people. She survived the attack. She was a religious woman too. She was just heading out to church, and I was amazed at her. She wasn't angry. I mean, of course, she's angry at the situation, but she wasn't like consumed with anger. when she was later interviewed. I think she was, yeah, interviewed, and her daughter was, her adult daughter was interviewed. Um, Now, things like that were happening. What was the point I was bringing out with that? Yeah, that happened in my neighborhood. And it almost happened to me. The day after her attack was when a white dude came to do something to me. But he got scared and went away. It was really bizarre, the situation. Yeah. What happened there? I looked at him dead in the eye. The guy had walked up to me. Yeah, see, I had my doggies, and I had bent down to, tend to them. And then when I stood up, the dude was right about a foot away. Then he walked even closer to my front, face to face. And I said, "Oh my God," to myself, "do I have time to get my mace out?" My mace was attached to my sleeve. And with you have to make sure it's aimed at the right direction. You don't want to spray yourself. But that's how I said, "Oh my God, do I have time to get my mace and squirt him?" So I was looking dead in his eye, in his pupil. Yeah, he might have been maybe 2 inches from my face. It was that close, people. And he was gritting his teeth in rage at me. Never seen this dude in my life. And he was dressed normal. Looked like a normal looking, how he was dressed person. But I think when I looked in his pupil, see, I was trying to read him, to read where he's coming from. What is this? Because this is the first time something like this happened to me. I mean, 2 inches from my nose. And I didn't know what. I said, "Oh, God." And I was pinned against the wall. I was, against the wall of the building. There was no way for me to get out. And there was scaffolding also. There was scaffolding above us. And these big buses. See, this was a day after that lady got attacked, that Asian lady. And so the camera crew was on the other side of the street. And they wouldn't have been able to see if he had attacked me because the big, those meteor trucks, they're really big. And they were blocking my view, from being seen. And the act of me looking in his pupil, I stood my ground. Because I didn't know what the hell was happening here. So I just stood still and just stared right back in his pupil. I was trying to read this guy. And that scared him. He got flustered, bends down, pets my dog, and kind of like hurries away. I kid you not. So what I kind of learned from that experience with these bullies, and you have men who like to beat up women. Okay, I'm just a woman, and this guy looked younger than me. He was an adult. He could have been in his 30s, 40s, and you have to look at the devil in the eye. See, devils don't like when you look in the pupil of the eye. You're going to look somebody, you look in the pupil of the eye. Yeah. And nice saying. Crazy only respects crazy. Yeah, I wasn't even being crazy. I was trying to read what is, because I know, like, you can get messages, so to speak. You read them. And he didn't want to be read. See, what would have been read in his pupil was that he was a fearful, angry man. And he didn't want that disclosed. He wanted to feel powerful. But when you read somebody's inside, it would indicate he was a scared little boy. And that's what he was scared of. And he actually scurried away. So bullies don't want to be read. Yeah, exactly, nice. He was trying to fear me, but I was too caught off guard to be afraid. I was just what he's right. It was he was just right there. Because I had just learned the lady got stomped on. Um, that oh, was it the day before? Yeah, because yeah. Um, so I didn't have time to be afraid. I was just, what the hell is going on? I've never been approached by a white man to be. I mean, I've gotten other types of attack. Verbal attacks or economic attacks, but not a physical attack from a white person. So I didn't expect it. I didn't know what to expect. So when the with the lady, the white lady that attacked me in November, this past November, see, my eyes weren't looking straight ahead, and so I couldn't look her in the eye. Okay, my eyes were away. So she, hey, let me get a cheap shot. But possibly, if I'm looking her in the eye, again, you don't know. Okay, schizophrenia is schizophrenia. Who knows what they're gonna think? And some people, you don't want to look in their eye. Some people, when you look in their eye, they want to attack because they think they feel threatened. See, every situation, people, is different. And that's why I call this, in this video, uh, strategies and boundaries. Not all strategies work in every situation. You may have to be creative and change. So life is also about change. Change. Not everything fits a situation. But I would say standing your ground is a big one. Even though I didn't feel I was standing my ground, it's not like I said, I'm standing my ground. It was just boom, right there. I didn't have time to be scared. I was just trying to figure out what the hell this white dude, what he want? I don't know him. He looked normal, his dress. Now there's some people who look crazy, who are dirty, they're out of their mind. I think that guy, that white guy, was just fed up about yeah, because last year there was a lot of um, people fighting. You had the so-called minorities trashing people's businesses and beating up people and getting away with it. And I'm sure that guy was just saying enough is enough. So he sees me with little dogs and he said, how am I going to get this lady, this black lady? Yeah. But he was a coward. Yep. I don't think he's going to do that again. He actually got scared. It was amazing, people. Amazing. And I appreciate my higher power for having me be able to do what I did, but without even knowing. Sometimes people, you don't even have to be aware of what you're doing, and they get scared off. It had nothing to do with your inner wisdom. It's not like, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to get this perpetrator off my back. Yeah, that was not in my head. I didn't have time to think, to really think what was going to go on. But a possible strategy, you better look where you're going. Look ahead if you can, and so that you can uh, set a boundary from you and that potential danger. Nothing wrong of that. Okay, you see fighting ahead or down the road. Well, don't go on that road. You go around it. See, sometimes avoidance is pretty good. It's the first line of defense, but sometimes you don't have that option. And so, stand in your ground. Look at them in the eye. Or sometimes, in the Bible, I used to read the Bible, and there was a there was a story in the Bible. I think it was King David, and he was by himself. And I forget the whole detail, but the fact that, oh no no, maybe it was Saul, King Saul. It was one of the kings of Israel at the time, the ancient Israel. Um, he had to pretend that he was a crazy man. He had done something that he wasn't supposed to do, and it backfired. And to get out of it, he had to pretend that he was a crazy man and have all this spittle on his face. He looked crazy. And that saved him in that instant. So sometimes, like Nice was saying, crazy respects crazy. Oh, something like that. Sometimes you got to act crazy, and they'll back off. Yeah, there's a point when you have to stand. You have to. You can't run away from it. And to such a point, people, that you get to a point where you say, I don't care what the results are. I'm going to defend myself. Because the fear that I had, if I do something, the cops might arrest me. And that is a big fear. That, see, the cops are so corrupt in New York City. And because I'm a black woman, so-called minority woman, that, see, the stereotype is that black women are bullies in New York City. Many of us are bullies. Many of us are. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've seen bullies, and there are black bullies out there. Black women who do things to hurt other women because they might be perceived as being prettier than that bully, or maybe they got longer hair, or something stupid, you know. Yeah, I've seen them. And I was also had experienced that on the train not too long ago, a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago. I'm on a train going to my mom's, and these two black women, young, came to bully me. Yeah, I didn't at first realize what was going on. Yeah, yeah, I did a video on that. I was enraged. I was really angry. Um, yeah, they wanted me to get up and give them my seat, and even though the seat's on the train, but they wanted my seat. So you have black bullies out there too. And life will humble them. See, most likely that they were mistreated too. And so they want to feel powerful and pick on. Yeah, it's interesting. I was the only black female on that train. And there was one black dude across from me, older man sitting across from me. And outside of that, everybody else was some other race. A lot of immigrants looking people. Yeah. But they singled me out of all the train. See that? See how black on black crime happens? But then you're going to be worried about a white cop or an Asian cop shooting you. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that word. But you think it's okay for a black person to kill another black person because you don't respect your life and you don't respect your community. And so why the hell should these cops respect you? See that it goes both ways, people. You want respect, you better give it. You don't like people bullying you, don't be a bully. If you don't like yourself and you don't like your community and you are victimizing your own people, black on black crime, it's like a flood here in New York City and other major cities. And then you're going to cry wolf when a cop shoots you. And many times these cops are in the right. Many times they don't know what you have. They know that a lot of these people are real criminals. And in their eyes, hey, one less criminal or potential criminal off the street. But see, there are innocent people that they attack also. There are innocent people who are victimized by cops. And that's the part that I'm sad about. I'm sad about innocent people, innocent black people, white people, yellow, red people who are victimized by the police, by some authority, because of their ignorance. Don't look for trouble. Do not look for trouble. Your life is always going to present itself. But it's like, for me, I think the real issue is, am I willing to do? See, before you go outside, you pray before you go outside. You say, universe, please protect me from harm. I do. I usually do it. I do it about 90% of the time. And that time when I got assaulted by that lady, I think I forgot to give my prayers. Yeah. But either way, I don't want to beat up myself for that. But see, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to forget certain things. But you go cry out to the universe. Say, universe, I need wisdom because these things are happening to me. Please give me the strength to do the right thing at the moment. And it may be at a point where, when that time comes, to be able to say, I'm going to do what I need to do to conquer this challenge. And to do regardless of the consequences. Because I know the consequences here in New York City. You're a black woman, they're going to arrest you on the spot. And you could have been the victim. And I have to get to a point that, regardless, to fuck the cops and say, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to hit this person back. Something. I got to get to that point. I don't know. I'm being honest. See, I'm being honest. Yes, I could have hit that woman back, but hey, that's a young. I'm a 59-year-old woman. I'm not a teenager. I'm not in my 20s. And I don't think I could fight a 20-something, 30-something-year-old woman, big-ass woman, with schizophrenia. Crazy people got a lot of strength. Oh, yes, they do. This lady was also under the influence. See, that's another thing. That lady was under the influence of some chemical. I think she was drinking, because she started throwing up when the cops came. Yeah, her eyes were really out of it. So you got alcohol, and then she didn't take her schizophrenic medication. But that's a bad combination. Also, you have to know, um, sometimes you gotta, you really gotta weigh out the situation. Could you survive? Sometimes you really can't do it. You're outnumbered sometimes, or out strength. Yeah, I'm. Because I thought to myself, because I turned around after she hit me, I said, what the hell is wrong with you? You're crazy. That's what I said. I said, man, that's a big ass lady. And yeah, you got to weigh it out. Could you win the fight? Or let's say if you have a weapon. Yeah, that's another thing. That a black lady with a weapon. See, you can't. Well, we're not allowed to have weapons. They're allowed to have mace. But mace. I do have mace, and I carried it all the time at that time. But that one day, I didn't bring it. And there's a problem with the mace. I said, after that incident, I took out the thing and I sprayed it. I pressed it, and nothing came out. The thing was clogged. Yeah, these things get clogged. The photos they show it, like it sprays out like a mist. No, it doesn't. It does like a stream, a little weird. And you, you can't assume just because someone um, see they don't really teach you how to use mace, and you can't assume because someone is in front of you that looks crazy is going to assault you. You cannot just use mace and spray at people. See, that's another problem. And once they are upon you, it's too late to use, really. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped using my mace. I stopped bringing it because I said realized that in order to really use it effectively, they have to be away from you. And some attacks come upon you, boom, and it's really tricky to use. The knob, like when you press it, the thing could be actually pressed. The hole could be aimed in your direction rather than in front of you. So it's a tricky thing to use. It's very tricky, and when you press it, it may not come out, and that's what I experienced when I tried it at the park. I said, "Let me try that. Let me spray it here," and it didn't work. That thing was clogged. I said, "Oh shoot!" So I had to unclog it. I said, I was feeling like it wasn't serving me. So it keeps you, I feel, to be alert. Be alert, people, when you're walking down the street. Yeah, because you have bullies out there, opportunists. So you have opportunists in life that have been browbeaten in their lives, that they look for victims. And unfortunately, I was one of them because I wasn't paying attention what was in front of me. True that it could have still happened if I was looking straight ahead. And yes, she did attack two other people prior to getting to me. So, but yeah, stay awake, stay alert. Oh, I remember why I mentioned about the Asian beating. I looked at some of the footage of the Asian individuals who got assaulted by young people. Um, like one lady she was looking straight. She was tired and she was carrying packages in both hands. And that indicated to me, again, I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming the victim, but in assessing why they chose that lady. Um, Both of her hands were occupied. And so she would not have been able to really protect herself, use her hands to punch back, So both her hands were occupied because she was carrying her groceries in both hands. So the guy, the fucking coward, punched her in the face. Oh God, it was awful. See, bullies look for opportunity to bully other people. They're fucking cowards, in my say. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm using this language, but I'm angry. So I said to myself, when I go outside, I better have one hand available to at least block a punch if possible. So look where you're going, so that when they do try to punch, that you can at least block the punch. Yeah, yeah. Have at least one hand free. What else? Um, yeah, that situation. Um, yeah, and again, there were women that were assaulted, and their hands were free. So again, not every, it's not a cookie cutter. You could still get assaulted even if your hands were free. And there was an s- it wasn't an expectancy. How many times do people like that type of attack? Did a kung fu attack on the woman, and it turned out that man who assaulted that particular woman in my neighborhood, and it was televised so much last March and early April of last year. He was a murderer of his mama. I kid you not. That um, perpetrator, he was arrested as a teenager for murdering his mother. So I think he adds. Then he gets released. He did maybe 15 years in jail, in prison. Then they gave him an early release. He was released on probation, and the media was provoking, in my opinion, um, to be angry and blame Asian people for the that that disease that's happening for the past 2 years. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair how they did it because some of the people that were attacked were not even Chinese. So they're going to overgeneralize anyone with slanted eyes. You beat up. That was horrible. See, I don't like things like that. But yeah, so I think that particular bully has a hatred for women, and he took it out on her. So you had the media playing up this anti Asian thing, and then seeing that it's a woman, so he has a hatred for women, and so he did that. Yeah, I hope he stays in jail for the rest of his life. Yeah, he lived in one of those homeless shelters nearby. But you would never, that's one thing about the devil. The devil could dress just like you. He dressed really no different. He was neatly dressed, but he was a fucking criminal, a murderer of his mother, and a violent man. And he took it out of this on this woman. Yeah. Yeah, be aware of your surroundings. And we all have, I mean, that one really uh, stood out of my mind. She did nothing to him. Nothing. And it can happen, people. Yeah, give your prayers in the morning. Yeah, because see, sometimes when all things fail, you better pray to your higher power. You say, please deliver me from this situation. Please give me wisdom, knowledge, and truth how to handle this situation. And at need be, you may have to be so fucking fearless that you may get arrested. And I have to get to a point to go beyond that fear. Yeah, there's a point where you have to say enough is enough. And I know being a black person in New York City that I will be perceived as the uh, perpetrator, even though I was the victim in a situation. Yep. Love yourself, regardless of how the outcome. See, we're not God. We're not. we're just human beings. We're spiritual beings. As I say, having a human experience. That's all we are. We could only do our best and then pray for the rest. Yeah. Yeah, don't beat up yourself too much. Yeah, and learn how to speak out. Yeah, there's also, learn how to speak out. And maybe you might need to do something really daring. So people, gotta be careful. Yeah, but sometimes it gets to that point. It sometimes gets to that point. Wow. I hope it never gets to that point, people. That poor boy that I made mention of, who took it in his hands as an 11-year-old. And wow, tragedy. But he seems happy now. He looked happy in that photo. I saw a photo of him as an adult man. Yeah, he's about, let's see, he's about 40 now. Yeah, I was, brother. Yeah, I think he's late 30s, 40s, early 40s. Yeah, with children of his own. And he seems happy. Yeah, yeah, be happy, people. Be happy with yourself and ask the universe to um, lift you up in times of despair and to ask the universe strategies and boundaries that you can create in your life to protect yourself. Take accountability. That's a big thing, people. Accountability. And say, yes, that little girl got violated, but I'm not a little girl anymore. I have to tell I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm a woman, and I have to do women um, use the wisdom of a grown woman. Yeah. Let me read that comment there. Yeah, prisons are full of innocent people who finally stuck up for themselves. Yes, that is so right. And also, he's nice says mentally ill people won't take their meds when doing other illegal drugs because their meds will make the street stuff weaker. Oh, that's different. Let me read that again. Mentally ill people won't take their meds when doing other illegal drugs because their meds will make the street stuff weaker. Wow, never heard of that. That's interesting. I would say it would make it more toxic. Combine different drugs together can kill you. But that's interesting. These things are tests. Sometimes you need that wake up call to remember where you are. Yeah, thank you. Nice also said, that is the fear I have. Defending yourself is illegal in New York City. Yes. Yeah, that's right, Acer. Yeah, exactly. That's the fear I have. Defending yourself is illegal in New York City. Yes. Yeah. And that's why I don't want to stay here. It's like I can't fight the system. I don't want to go in jail. Because, see, I know some people could get railroaded and that they look to arrest people because there are quotas out there, too. There are quotas. And I'm just another black person on the wall that they want to swat. And they get a quota. See, last year, Black New York, Hispanic New York had the false assumption that they could continue doing melee in the streets and committing arson and beating up innocent people. But now, honey, you can't. Uh-uh. See, now you have this pandemic. And people are dying. They're not giving any prophylactics for this pandemic. There are two medications out there that's been on the market for many, 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 many years. And I even talked to my doctor yesterday. What's happening now in New York City because of the that new variant, that they shut down the hospital, the VA hospital, and they're having a call section, a call session. I meant to say call. The doctors call you instead. You can't come in, and they just kind of ask, "How are you feeling?" Blah 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 blah. Because of they said the variant is out there. See, my doctor also is trying to scare me to get vaccinated, but hell no. They want me to get vaccinated. And they say, oh, well, it's the unvaccinated. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that word. Okay. They said that we're not going to, I'm sorry, that they're the one that's getting sick with this new variant and not the ones that have who took the bug juice. I heard opposite. I heard that the ones who are, well, let me stop for a moment. There's two variables in that situation. See, she was telling me that the ones who have taken the bug juice, as I call it, they are not getting affected by the variant, the new variant. But those who didn't drink the Kool-Aid are the ones that are getting sick with this new variant. But she did not say, she did not tell me that, those people who have taken the bug juice are the ones who are getting sick from the bug juice itself. They're not saying that. See, it's warfare. See where fear comes in, people? They're trying to make you so fearful and have you take a drug that they didn't experiment on. You are the experiment, people. You are being used as the guinea pig. And I would say no. My natural defenses. Where the hell was this virus 5 years ago? What happened 5 years ago? Your body has its own immune system. And they're trying to make us into artificial people. They're saying that God's creation is not good enough, and this fake robotic medicine is going to help me. Well, I don't want to be afraid of death. See, they're making people afraid of death. Remember when the thing came out 2 years ago? Remember on the internet, you see all these Chinese people on the ground acting like a fish out of water. Remember that? How come people in New York City aren't doing that? Oh, I have to calm down. I'm sorry. I was getting a little excited there. I forgot I have a new neighbor, and I think he's from China. Yeah, there are things going on, people. Yeah, that new neighbor of mine, I met him a month ago, and it's really weird. These are new people. Now I am not against Chinese people, but I'm against people who get in my business. I had said, "Good morning." I was coming in from walking my dogs with the stroller, and I was unlocked my door to enter. And then he walks up to me and says a very personal question about my finances. Could you believe that? So I said, "Excuse me, I don't go up to you and ask you personal questions about your finances." And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he walks away. Yeah. See, there's a reason for that. And I don't trust him. I only saw him that one time. And I'm wondering whether this particular thing happened inside my room uh, because of him. I'm sorry about that. It started buffering there. Apologize for that. Yeah, I have to be careful what I say because I don't know. Oh, I don't want people to hear what I'm. Sometimes I can get a little excited about what I'm talking about, but I got a new neighbor, in my apartment next door, the room next door. So, um, what was I just saying before I got distracted there? Um, I think I talk about the cops and everything. This is, the pandemic. Yeah. See, they're using fear again to control you, and they want you to stop using logic and do something. And there's no accountability, people. There is no accountability for their actions. If they give you something and it causes you severe harm to your body, oh, I'm sorry. Well, I can't be charged against this because I follow the ADA's protocol, I mean, the AMA protocol for medicine. So I am free of charge of liability. Wow. See, that's what a coward does. See, this is a bully. This is a medical bully. Yeah, you got medical doctors who are bullies. And the administrators of the medical field are bullies because of fear of lack of power of uh, other people's bodies. They can't control their bodies, so they want to control your body. They want to harm your body so that there's less people on this planet. They want you to partake in the Kool-Aid, and they're not even taking that Kool-Aid. They don't even wear the diaper on their face. They don't. But they want you to wear it. And they want you to get infected. I'm not going to take the Kool-Aid. And I have to get to a point where I say, yeah, I could possibly one day get infected with this um, variant. But if I'm going to die, people, I want to die my way. You heard me right. If I'm to die, I want to die on my terms on something. And all of us are going to die one day. But I want to die in victory over my life. I want to be able to stand, to be able to look in the mirror and say, I completed my race. It's not about perfection. It's about saying to live according to your abilities, your strength, so you could respect yourself when you look in the mirror. These clowns out there, how could they respect themselves? They really don't. And that's why they do what they do, because they don't respect themselves, they don't like themselves, so they want to take it out on you. And no way am I going to take their bug juice in my body. Yes, I take my supplements. Yeah, but after this video, I have to take my water and my supplements. Yeah, take your minerals to build. See, your body needs material to be able to fight off pathogens. Yeah, your body is composed of things that it needs to build up uh, your white blood cells, your T cells, your fighting cells to fight off pathogens. So you have to feed it the right food. There's a low mineral value with the food. The new food is poor in nutrients. So take supplements to fill in that gap. Stay away from toxic people, toxic family. And the other day, remember I did that video about learning to say no even if it hurts? Well, a family member called me. Yep, a family member called me because they heard that video. And they said it left a message. Yep. So it's interesting. Yeah, some of your worst enemies might be listening to your videos. That's okay. You know, stand your ground and live a life of respectability. Yeah, that's very important to me. Live a life of respectability. See, bullies are not respectable. Like that guy, Prince Andrew. Yeah, I think that's yeah, Prince Andrew. The guy that allegedly had sex with that 17-year-old girl, Virginia. Yeah, yeah. It's Oh, I got. Oh, my batteries are running low. I just have 5% left on my battery. It just prompted. Yeah, yeah. See, he's not no longer respected. Yeah, see, after a while, bullies create enough rope to hang themselves. So yeah, see, he's a nasty guy. He's a horrible guy, and he could have just settled or whatever. But now he was a jerk. He's now an embarrassment to the family. And now even the queen, his mama, turned her back on him. Yeah, yeah. You give these guys and these women enough rope and they will eventually hang themselves. Yeah. So that's why I remind you today to live a life with personal dignity, and that one day, um, you'll be able to say to yourself, I stood my course. And yes, in life there's battles. You may not have to win every battle, but the true, sorry about that. Sorry about that, people. Sorry, it just conked out. You have to go soon. Yes. So, yes, win your own personal war because the true war is within. Live a life with dignity so you can stand tall stand with your head tall. Okay? I thank you all for listening to this live stream. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. And those of you who like this content, if you will, you can PayPal me. And to do so, on my channel, Spirit Journey channel, um, there's my PayPal me link. It's on the top right banner of the channel. Just click on it and follow the prompt. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate you and I respect you all, and I hope that you are able to learn and enjoy this message. Yes, each one teach one, and I'm teacher myself. I am a student just like you are. Thank you again, and may you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, guys and gals.